And we're back at the Minot State Dome. Getting ready for the second half of our third place contest. Shanley with a 3-point lead over Mandan, 33-30. And you can see the dome as we take the wide shot starting to fill up here in Minot as the championship game coming up just a little bit later on. Grand Forks Central, #2 in the state, and Minot at #1 all year long, unbeaten at 24-0, going for their second straight championship, and Gene Manson going for his 4th state championship.
Right away they look for Polis.
Polis a little short on the 3-pointer. Dan Dahl brings it up for the Shanley Deacons. Dahl drives into the paint, runs into trouble, loses the ball to Scott Tom, and Tom, acting like the guard, he takes it up, slows it down, and dishes off to his teammate Michael Auck. Auck to Polis. Polis gets it over to Chad Kincaid.
Shane Avey starting the second half. Eric Schmidt, who has struggled, sitting on the bench to begin this stanza.
Michael Auck. There's the feed inside and back outside to the wing. That's Polis. Won't go. Rebound Nick Jacobson, and Shanley will try again. Mandan 0 for 2 on their first 2 tries. Feed inside to Johnson. Boy, that was a sweet pass by Q. Brian Quam with a nice feed to Mike Johnson, and Johnson, he scores. It's 35-30.
Really impressed me with his ability to find the open man.
Brian Quam, they call him Q. Neat guy. This is Chad Kincaid up on top of Sam Polis. Shanley's defense been fairly solid with this zone. This is Auck, and that goes off. Fight between Johnson and Jacobson for the rebound. They get it up to Dan Dahl, and he brings it up. Brian Quam on the right wing. Tried to feed inside, and Shane Avey said, "Not gone that. What they got?" Here comes Mandan. Chad Kincaid with the ball. Nice feed. Tried to feed it inside anyway to Scott Tom, and it's knocked away. And Shanley will retain it. I thought the ball went off Josh Deutsch, but they're giving it to Shanley. Mike Johnson's yelling for some extra help as Dan Dahl is covered, but he does get it inside, or into Dan.
Interesting that Lance Geigel begins the second half on the bench, as he caused all sorts of problems for the Deacons in the first quarter.
Keep an eye on Jacobson for you, the coach of the Deacons, see if he's going to win this little wager with his assistant. 3-point attempt by Johnson won't go. It goes over the backboard, and with 6 minutes to go in the third, Shanley with a 5-point lead.
Both teams have had trouble connecting here in the second half, and you heard Tim Jacobson talk about how now they're getting a little more intense. You know, sometimes in all-star games it's all loosey-goosey for 3 quarters, but then they get down to wanting to win it in the 4th quarter. Similar situation here. I think now that it's the second half, you know, these teams are trying to take home 3rd place.
You betcha. Casey Meininger is into the ball game, number 32 for the Mandan Braves. Shanley stays in that zone. Polis. They are cold from the perimeter.
He's cold, but they're leaving him open. He's getting open, and those shots will begin to fall.
Shanley would probably change that defense if Polis did get hot. Cross-court pass to Q. Back out on top to Jacobson. He'll take the 3 with Avey in his face. Won't go, but Johnson gets the rebound, puts it back in. The shot will count, and he's hacked. He'll go to the line and try to make it a 3-point play.
Mike Johnson, just hard work on the boards. Didn't have position, just had the better work ethic. Out-fought everybody for the rebound.
And he's pumped up. You're just talking about how they were, if I can quote you, loosey-goosey in the first half. Now they're picking up the intensity a little bit, as you see. Mike Johnson nails the free throw, and he makes it a 3-point play, and Shanley leads now by 8, just like that. They've scored the first 5 points of the second half. They had a 33-30 lead at the half. Now it's 38-30. Shanley stays in the zone. They have left Sam Polis open. He has not been able to make those shots. Avey turnaround in the paint. That won't go. Fight for the rebound. Johnson comes up with it. And Shanley controlling things here in the early part of the second half. Dan Dahl to Johnson. Johnson finds himself out of position. Turns it back to Q. Josh Deutsch back to the left wing. This is Jacobson to Dahl. Back to Q. Shanley moving the ball around nicely, looking nice and comfortable. This is Jacobson, drives the paint, puts it up, off the board, and it's in.
Found a huge seam in the middle of that Braves defense, and nobody adjusted, nobody reacted to come over and get him.
And Greg Lemke calling for a timeout for his Mandan Braves. We'll take a break as well. Shanley turned a 3-point lead at the half into a 10-point lead. It's 40-30 Shanley. Back with more of the 3rd place game on the North Dakota NBC Television Network. We're back at the Minot State Dome, and you can see Shanley breaking that huddle. Jake telling them, keep the intensity, keep it going. Let's bring home third place. Shanley again finishing the regular season in 6th place in the Eastern Dakota Conference. They beat Grafton in the play-in, then beat Devils Lake and Wahpeton before succumbing to Grand Forks Central for the title in the East region. They are so surprised and happy to be in this game.
Mandan's got to have a good possession here. They've gone almost 4 minutes to open the second half without scoring.
They got to get that perimeter shooting to get Shanley out of this zone. Feed inside. This is Avey. Turnaround jumper on the perimeter, and he nails it. Avey with 8 points. An 8-point lead for the Shanley Deacons, 40-32, coming up on the 4-minute mark in the third quarter. Shanley been having things pretty much their way the entire contest. Q and Dahl playing catch up top. Mike Johnson up on top playing a little point guard. This is Brian Quam, feeds inside to Johnson.
Nice
Great pass to Josh Deutsch, and he lays it in. Boy, the Deacons are looking great. Josh Deutsch, that's his first field goal of the contest, and it's 42-32, back to a 10-point lead for Shanley.
You can see how things are changing in the game of basketball. It used to be big men would never, ever give the ball up, and now we're seeing all sorts of really quality passers in the post for a lot of these teams that are at this tournament.
Great skill to have, too, is the ability to throw it around like that as well. Fight for the ball underneath. I think they're going to call that foul on Josh Deutsch, actually, up on top. It was a late call. Watch this nice pass by Johnson. Sweet. Josh Deutsch puts it in. Deutsch, though, getting called for the foul on the other side, and that's his 3rd personal foul. He had, Meitinger had thrown the ball up, didn't make it, and then suddenly, after they were fighting for the rebound, came the whistle, a late whistle by the referee that sends Meitinger to the free throw line. Number 32, Casey Meitinger. First trip to the free throw line, and he nails that one. That's his first point of the game as well. It's a 9-point lead for the Deacons.
And he has matched his season scoring average.
1 point? Is that right?
That's right. Actually, .9. He's
well, you're rounding up. You are a math wizard.
Yeah.
I'm learning all sorts of things about you. Johnson, another nice feed to Deutsch, and he nails that one.
Boy, they found a combination.
Josh Deutsch scores, and the Shanley group loves it. Coming up on the 3-minute mark in the third quarter. This is Sam Pullis.
Now they're going to react to Pullis. Now I think the Braves need to find a way to get Scott Tom involved.
Tom has been quiet. Pullis sinks this one. And it's 44-35, a 9-point lead for the Deacons. Stan Dahl gets it to Q on the right wing. Big pass to the baseline on the left side to Nick Jacobson, who's in a little bit of trouble.
Quam wants it back. He's wide open for 3 on the weak side.
Dan Dahl, this is Quam in the base. Nice feed inside to Johnson, who gets it to Jacobson. He goes for 3, and he nails it. Can you believe the guy is only a freshman? That's his 3rd three-pointer of the contest, and it's 47-35 Shanley.
Nice looking stroke, too. Just perfect form.
Feed inside. There they go. They're trying to get it to Tom, but he's too well guarded by Jacobson, who gets the steal. And here comes Dan Dahl and Shanley as we're coming up on the 2-minute mark. There's a feed inside to Deutsch again. He's had the last 4 points. This one won't go. Tom gets the rebound. And here come the Braves. Nice play to the hoop. That's Lance Geigel. Geigel started out the game the first 7 points for the Mandan Braves and has been pretty quiet since. 10-point lead for the Deacons. Whistle away from the ball. They're going to call that one on Josh Deutsch, I think, as well. Deutsch in immediate foul trouble now.
And that's 4 on him.
We're going to take a break. Josh Deutsch does pick up his 4th personal foul indeed. We're taking a break. 10-point lead for the Shanley Deacons, 47-37. We'll be back with more of the third-place game on the North Dakota NBC television network. Back at the Minot State Dome in the third-place game, the Fargo Shanley Deacons and the Mandan Braves, 2 unlikely foes meeting here for the third-place game. Mandan coming into this contest with the only losing record of the tournament. Shanley could have been that way as well, but Shanley won 3 of 4 in the East Region tournament. They came into the East Region with a losing record.
Yeah, in fact, even if Mandan wins tonight, they'll be 12-13. They'll finish. They'll be 3rd place in the state with a losing record. But both these teams, the number 2 seeds coming out of the region, so we have stayed true to form with the seeding.
And they have really gelled here, obviously, at the end of the year. Shanley stays in the zone. Mandan been frustrated by it most of the contest. trying to work it around. This is Chad Kincaid. He's going to drive baseline. He puts it up. Won't go. Rebound Q, and the Deacons will try again. Sweet. Man, the Deacons are throwing the ball around nicely. Oh, boy, Bradshaw's mugged. They're going to call a foul on Ock. Michael Ock, 5'10" senior guard for Mandan, picks up his second personal foul. 1:08 to go in the third. 10-point lead for the Deacons. They have the lead, and they'll get the ball. Brian Quam throws the ball in for Shanley. He gets it to Damon Bradshaw. Bradshaw's wearing that wristband around his left bicep tonight, too. I wonder what that means.
Yeah, maybe it's a senior thing, although Mike Johnson is his arms are bare.
Bad pass by Bradshaw. Polis comes up with it. Thought about throwing it up ahead to Ock, but discretion being the better part of valor. And with under a minute to go in the third, they're going to set it up. This is Mike Ock looking for the inside feed to Avey. Turnaround jumper, left hand, and he nails Shane Avey now with a quiet 10 points.
And he's really had to pick it up with Scott Tom struggling, just 3 points. Avey's been the man in the middle.
Under 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. Shanley going to go for the last points of the third quarter. They are sitting on an 8-point lead. There you see the time. We're at 15 seconds in the quarter. Brian Quam gives it to Bradshaw. Bradshaw double team. Dribbles around, drives the baseline, puts it up, won't go. It won't fall. 5 seconds to go. Mandan trying to get it up the court. This is Geigel, throws it up, won't go, and there's the whistle. And so at the end of the third period, Shanley with an 8-point lead over the Mandan Braves, 47-39, and we'll be back with the fourth quarter in this third place game in just a moment on the North Dakota NBC Television Network.
And welcome back to the Minot State University Dome. And, you know, Dan and Dan have a nice courtside seat, but the rest of the media, as far as radio media, they're way up here. And let me tell you, this is a ways up. You would not want to fall from up here. Right next to me, you see the fax machine. That's how they get their stats up from down on the floor level. They fax up the stats into the stats machine, the fax machine right here, and that's how they pass it out. It's a ways up here, and it's really tough to see the numbers. I would not want to call a game from up here.
Great job, Dennis Wyman. Please be careful up there. Come back to us. Wow.
It's going to take him a while to get back down here.
My goodness. Going to need a nosebleed. You have to chew gum when you're up there so you pop your ears.
Shanley. They've got a little better food up there, though. I think Dennis might be staying up there for a while.
Well, bring some down to us when you come down. Johnson up on top to Jacobson. Jacobson drives into the paint. He gets hacked. They're going to call an arm, and I think it's going to go against Schmidt. Going to call an arm fall.
Either that or Shane Avey with the body. He's got two choices.
I think it is against Avey, by gosh. You are right. Avey picks up his second personal foul, and Nick Jacobson will go to the free throw line. Nick Jacobson is the coach's son. So Tim Jacobson is the head coach. Nick Jacobson plays for him. Steve Jacobson, his nephew, is an assistant. And Sarah, his daughter, is a big star for the women's team. He's also got some Jacobsons on that Mayport team up in Mayville that we'll see next week at the state tournament. Steve Jacobson, his nephew, is the son of Neil Jacobson, who used to coach the Deacons. So there's all sorts of Jacobsons around the Shanley.
And so on and so on.
Nice family tree involved with the Shanley program.
Eric Schmidt's into the game for the first time this half for Mandan.
Scott Pullis still cold from the perimeter. Damon Bradshaw with a big rebound. We're in the fourth quarter. Nice pass up ahead. Very unselfish move by Quam to Johnson. Over to Jacobson for three. It won't go. Pullis with the great position underneath. He gets the rebound. And here come the Mandan Braves. They push it up ahead. This is Eric Schmidt with the ball. Schmidt feeds inside to Avey. Avey's been the hot hand for the Mandan Braves. He's got 10. Couldn't get that one to fall. And a foul is called on Mike Hoper. Hoper's going to pick up his first personal foul. They're going to say it was a non-shooting foul. A non-shooting foul, so Mandan will take the ball out. We've had a lot of foul trouble situations throughout this tournament, but thus far in this ball game, it's not going on.
Scott Thomas back into the ball game.
Oh, sweet play by Scotty Tom.
Like in football, I think they sent him in with the play from the sidelines.
Damon Bradshaw stops and pops. Won't go. Mandan, you can feel the Mo switching here. Ock feeds Tom. Tom off the glass, and here come the Mandan Braves.
Boy, Scott Tom has been getting all sorts of trouble getting himself on track here today, and comes off the bench. He's got 4 quick points and brought some momentum with him when he checked in.
There's a timeout on the floor before Tom can go try to complete the three-point play. 6:39 to go in the fourth. Jacobson not wasting any time. He's going to settle his guys down right away. We'll take a break as well. Shanley with a 4-point lead, and we'll be back with more on the North Dakota NBC Television Network in just a moment. State Dome, and Dan Viennes, Tim Jacobson admonishing his team to pick it up a little bit in that huddle.
Yeah, he told him he wanted to get a good shot. He said, we have to score after this free throw. Asked for 4 passes. Said if we can't get an open shot, start cutting and screening and coming off of screens to try and get them to foul us.
Nice feed up ahead to Jacobson. Eric Schmidt with a swipe. Missed it. Jacobson puts it in, and it's back to a 5-point lead for the Shanley Deacons. Feed inside to Tom. They haven't been able to get this done. Tom fights it. Knocked away a little bit by Brian Kwame. Got a piece of it. And the Deacons come back.
That was a tough move for Scott Tom, who never uses his left hand, so he's a little more comfortable the other side of the lane.
Oh, sweet backdoor play. Damon Bradshaw. Nice assist by Johnson. And it's 51-44. Deacons with a couple of quick hoops. Michael Ock on the right wing. On top to Pullis. Pullis tripped by Jacobson. One of those didn't mean to, but still's going to pick up the foul. Nick Jacobson, that's his first personal. In fact, the only person on the Shanley roster with any foul trouble is number 32, Josh Deutsch, who interestingly enough is still in the ball game despite the 4 fouls. Feed inside, they go to Tom. He puts it up, won't fall, and Johnson continues to control the boards for the Shanley Deacons.
They got the shot they wanted. They're just rolling out right now for Mandan. They were shooting over 50% at the half. That has dropped into the mid-40s, though, here in the fourth quarter.
Brian Quam, turnaround jumper, and he nails it. Brian Quam, 8, 10, 12 points for Quam unofficially in this contest. Big Eric Schmidt drives the baseline, whistle before the shot. They're going to say he was fouled before he got there, and Bradshaw is going to pick up this ball, his second personal. It's before the shot, though, so they'll take it out of bounds. But Shanley with 6 team fouls, so the next one, Mandan starts shooting those free throws, and that's going to become a big factor here. 9-point lead for Shanley. 5:23 to go in the contest. This is for third place. I think if you'd have talked to any basketball experts midway through the season and said these two teams will play for third place, they would have checked you into a hospital probably. Nice no-look pass by Tom to get it back out on top to Kincaid, and it gets back to him. He drives into the paint. Sweet move. And it falls, and it's good. Chad Kincaid.
You know, he has done this in this tournament. He will do absolutely nothing for 2 quarters and then stun you with a play like this. This is nice.
Zigging, zagging. Nice ball movement, nice hand movement, and it falls in, and he'll go to the free throw line to try to complete the 3-point play.
Well, if that had rolled out, Scott Tom, as you could see there, was right there waiting to tip it in, too.
It's a 7-point lead for Shanley, and Mr. Kincaid will try to make it a 6-point lead for the Deacons, and he does. 53-47, 6-point lead for the Deacons at the 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Kincaid messing with Bradshaw on top. Feed to Jacobson on the baseline. He tried to dish it underneath to Quam. Knocked away, though, and Shanley will take it out underneath the hoop.
Another situation just like it was coming out of the timeout. Tim Jacobson really wants a bucket here to keep this thing at 6 or 8 and not get it down into the 3-4 range.
Nice feed by Johnson again to Bradshaw, who puts it up and in. And Shanley fighting hard to keep Mandan at arm's length. This is Scott Tom. Gives it up to Geigel. Geigel up on top and over into the corner to Pullis. Pullis back to Schmidt. Schmidt feeds inside to Tom. Off one of the Deacons' feet. Bradshaw comes up with it. Probably should have been stopped because it went off a player's foot. Jacobson unselfishly gives it up. Foul underneath, though.
Boy, only a coach's son. I didn't think there was any way he could get this ball to Brian Quam with Scott Tom all over him, but he found a way.
Jacobson picked up a foul in all that mess. When he dished it off, he ran into one of the Mandan players, and as I mentioned, we're into the bonus, so Mandan will start shooting now with 4:26 to go in the fourth quarter. Sam Pullis will go to the free throw line, and there's a good look at Shanley.
Well, he has been stone cold from the field since hitting 3 3-pointers in the first half. He's got 1 field goal in the second half, but I mean, he seems to be the only guy that's consistently been scoring for Mandan in this tournament. And once again, they're in a position where he's going to have to score some more if they're going to come back and win this game.
1 for 2 from the free throw line is Sam Pullis. And Damon Bradshaw, oh, he lost it. Ball got away from Damon Bradshaw. We're going to take a break with 4:19 to go in the ball game. Shanley with a 7-point lead over the Mandan Braves. We'll be back with more on the North Dakota NBC Television Network. I think she was doing her Three Stooges there a minute ago. All sorts of cute patrons here. There she's doing that Three Stooges thing again.
Certainly not camera shy.
And that's good to see. The future anchor people here in the crowd. Coming up on the 4-minute mark of the fourth quarter, Eric Schmidt on baseline stops, pops, bounces off the rim, and falls through. Can you believe that? That's Eric Schmidt's first points.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming for Eric Schmidt.
Johnson acting like the point guard. Almost throws it away. Bradshaw recovers. This is Brian Quam. They call him Q. He gets it over to Bradshaw. Bradshaw snuffed. They're going to call a pushing foul, though. And Shanley will retain it. That's going to be the 4th team foul against the Mandan Braves. And the foul is called against number 22. Sam Pullis, his first personal. 4th team foul again. It's a 5-point lead for the Deacons. They get it into Bradshaw. And the Deacons will try to set things up. Jacobson's had a great game. Josh Deutsch gets it to Damon Bradshaw. Inside to Johnson. Johnson double covered, puts it up. Not going to fall, but he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2, and I think they're going to call that one on. Well, I better not say.
It's on Scott Tom. Once again, he has shown a propensity to get himself up in the air on a head fake, and there he does, and he really had no choice but to foul.
A propensity. There's my Webster's. Mike Johnson goes to the free throw line. And casually nails that first one. I've got him for 4 for 5 from the free throw line in this contest. You see Coach Jacobson giving some advice to Mr. Bradshaw. Second one won't go. And a great rebound by Nick Jacobson. He goes right back, and he is rejected by Scotty Tom. And Eric Schmidt will bring it up for the Mandan Braves.
It seems like every time Tom does something negative, like the foul, he comes back with something positive. Big block shot.
Wants to redeem himself. Tom, turnaround jumper in the lane.
Big turnaround.
And just like that. It's a 4-point game. Shanley on top of Mandan, 56-52, with just about 3 minutes to go in this contest. Jacobson drives the baseline, tries to feed it to Johnson. He comes up with it and puts it in. And it seems like every time something good happens to the Mandan Braves, Shanley comes back and holds them at arm's length. Back to a 6-point lead for the Deacons. Under 3 minutes to play in the game. Schmidt, nice pass to Tom, won't fall. And there's going to be a foul, and Eric Schmidt shaking his head.
Well, let's see what happens here.
They're going to say that the Shanley player was set.
Oh, there just wasn't enough contact there. A foul should be called when there is a disadvantage caused by one of the players. Absolutely no disadvantage there. That was a little nice acting from Josh Deutsch, but a no call would have been the best call there.
Deutsch brings it across the timeline. He is playing cautious ball because he has 4 fouls. He gives it to Q. Cross-court pass hits the backboard. Comes up with it is Eric Schmidt. And with 2.5 minutes to go, the Braves try to set something up. Into the corner. In and out. Won't fall for Michael Auck. Johnson with another rebound. And here comes the Shanley Deacons. Damon Bradshaw. Nice behind-the-back move there. Jacobson screaming for his team to set this thing up a little bit. I think Jacobson's going to win that wager. He hasn't been on the refs at all. Approaching 2 minutes to play in this contest. Shanley being very deliberate now. Burning time off the clock. Jacobson looking around. Johnson, what's he doing out there? Feet underneath the Jacobson. It won't go, though. And they're going to call an over-the-back foul on Damon Bradshaw. Bradshaw will pick up his 3rd personal foul. And it'll be a shooting foul as both teams are in the bonus. We'll see it again, Dan.
Tough miss. Just another great pass. Shanley has been finding the holes all day, getting a lot of easy baskets. But that time, Nick just couldn't get it down.
And so Shanley committing the foul. And Mandan will come down with a 6-point deficit. And Michael Ott will go to the free throw line, and there's going to be a timeout on the court with 1:49 to play in the contest. Shanley sitting on a 6-point lead, 58-52. Back with more on the North Dakota NBC Television Network. Back at the Minot State Dome, as Ott getting ready to go to the free throw line to shoot the 1-and-1. By the way, I ran into Kermit Cooper, who, according to the stat sheet, leads everybody here at the state tournament in statistics, points, rebounds, etc. He hurt his left knee yesterday in their game, Devils Lake, and I asked him how it was feeling, and he's going to get it checked out, but he thinks he's got a little tendonitis and there's a little fluid on his knee. So Kermit Cooper, great leaper. This could affect his leaping ability. Michael Ott on the free throw line. He nails the first of the 1-and-1. That's his first points of the contest as well. And there's a good look at Mr. Ott. 5'10" senior guard for the Mandan Braves in his last minute 49 wearing that uniform. And he nails the second one.
Now the next basket is the most important basket in this basketball game. It'll be huge. Either Mandan's going to cut it to 2 or Fargo will go up by 6. Next basket is a big basket. Great
defense by the Mandan Braves. So Johnson very smartly takes the timeout.
You know, I'll tell you something that's not going to happen here, Dan. Before the game, we were telling some off-the-court stories. Nick Jacobson, the freshman for the Fargo Shanley Deacons, was talking with Jay Amundsen, daughter of Greg Amundsen, assistant coach for the Mandan Braves, and also a great basketball player for their girls team. Was talking to Nick, and the two families know each other real well from all their time playing against each other, and Sarah and Jay playing against each other. And Sarah said, or Jay asked Nick, "So you think you're going to win tonight?" And he said, "Well, yeah." He said, "How much do you?" She asked him how many he thought that they would win by, and Nick said 30.
Jokingly.
Turns out a couple of Mandan players sitting right behind him. He turned around and said, "Oh man, what have I done?"
Yep.
A little bulletin board material, but that prediction certainly has not come true. We got a good one.
No, it hasn't, but it, according to the people we know inside, it did fire up the Braves. To hear that off-end comment, of course, young Mr. Jacobson was just joking about that, but of course, you know how they are. They'll use any of that stuff to put on that bulletin board.
Of course, Mandan probably too busy looking around for Dan Turnus' jersey there before the game. Worry too much about that stuff.
I wonder whose car that thing was in.
We got that all straightened out.
All right, Shanley with a 4-point lead. They were in this position a moment ago and took the timeout because they could not get the ball in. We're in the final 1:49 of the third-place game, and Shanley sitting on a 4-point lead, 58-54. Both teams are in the bonus, so they got to watch the fouls. Tom knocks it out of bounds on Bradshaw's inbounds pass. He's going to have to use the entire baseline there to get this ball in, I got a feeling. He still remains stationary. There's a pass. It's knocked away by Kincaid, so Shanley will retain it again. No time went off the clock.
That was awfully close to being 5 seconds.
And so Shanley will take it in, this time from the side.
Jacobson trying to go long, but
Guam gets the inbound pass, and he is tackled immediately by Kincaid. Kincaid walks up and slaps him one on the rump, says, you know, just doing my job. Kincaid picks up his first personal foul.
Well, they had a foul to give, and it's a good thing because Brian Quam, a very good free throw shooter, 4 for 4 in this game. But actually, that does put him in the bonus. So
good look at Tim Jacobson there.
Brian Quam will get a chance to stay perfect.
Josh Deutsch comes back in the ballgame for Rory McCormick. Deutsch sitting with 4 fouls. Got nothing to lose now, though, as he comes back into the lineup. And there's a good look at Q. Brian Quam. Quam, number 22, 6'2" senior, and his final moments in his Shanley Deacons uniform has been perfect from the free throw line. 4 for 4 in this third place contest. There's our basket cam. And it's in and out. And Scotty Tom gets the rebound. Scott Tom is so dangerous. Eric Schmidt drives, shoots, goes off the glass, won't fall, but Johnson continues his domination of the boards. And Michael Ock will pick up his third personal foul and will walk back down to the other end of the court. A whopping 12 seconds has gone off the clock in the last 5 or 6 minutes. 58-54. Shanley with a 4-point lead here. There's a good look at Michael Johnson, 6'4" senior forward and post for the Shanley Deacons. He nails that one. That's a 5-point lead. 5 for 6 from the free throw line in this game is Big Mike Johnson. He'll try to make it 6 out of 7, and he does. A 6-point lead for the Deacons. Coming up on 1:30 to go in the contest.
But now the Braves are back in that familiar position, looking for Sam Polis from behind the stripe.
Shanley stays in that zone. They've been in this zone the whole time. This is Geigel trying to work it up.
That's a tough shot.
Great position again by Mike Johnson. He clears it right away, and look out for Brian Quam. He puts it in. Had the feeling he was going to go for the jam, but he lays it in.
Yeah, that was just a tough shot at the other end from Lance Geigel.
Eric Schmidt throws it up. Three-pointer won't go, and Johnson continues his mastery of the boards. Again, another fast break. Quam tried to be unselfish and get it to his teammate Nick Jacobson. Polis comes up with a steal, and up ahead, this is Mike Ock shooting it up.
Oh.
He nails the three.
Over Mike Johnson.
So Mandan will take a timeout right away. That's Ock's first field goal of the contest. He has 5 points.
How did he get that shot off? That was big.
We're going to keep it here. 49 seconds to go, and of course, our second contest, the state championship, #1 and unbeaten, 24-0, the Minot Magicians against the Grand Forks Central Knights, who are 20-4 on the season.
Here it is again, Mike Ock, all of 5-10 of them, shooting over Mike Johnson. I don't know how. First of all, that Johnson didn't get a piece of that. Give credit to Ock for not altering his shot at all.
Makes it a 5-point game.
I mean, that just, bottom line, that keeps the Braves in the ball game. But it looked like Shanley had put it away.
Kind of reminds me of that drill that basketball coaches do. It drives you crazy when you're at practice, when they bring the broom out and they hold the handle, the end of the handle, and they hold the broom out in front of you, and they're working on your arch, so they make you shoot it over the broom.
See, they didn't have to do that for me. All they had to bring out was like a sponge.
You got the dustpan instead of the broom.
All they had to bring out was like a rag or something, and that was enough.
Well, you know, you do have that 2-inch vertical.
That was enough for me.
Dennis Wyman, what do you got for us?
Yeah, guys, Coach Jacobson not happy with the Deacons pushing the ball up there late in the what you just saw there, with 5-point lead in 50 seconds to go. He told them the game's not over yet.
And Bradshaw having all sorts of trouble. Gets it over to Quam. Quam and Tom
That's a travel. That's a travel.
And that's no. What are they going to say here now?
They're giving him a timeout, but that is absolutely a travel. You cannot roll over on the floor like that, and that's what Greg Lemke's talking to the officials about now.
So Quam rolled over and called a timeout, and I think that's Shanley's final timeout. Smart play by Quam. Dodges a bullet. And with 39.4 seconds to go in this contest, Shanley hanging tough to a 5-point lead. Here's the play again.
Look at this again. First of all, they were getting close to a 10-second call if they wouldn't have turned it over. Right here.
Okay, he didn't have control of the ball.
But he picks up control here and then rolls over again.
He rolled over, signaling the timeout at the same time. I suppose that's what the officials are going to say. Otherwise, it probably would have been a traveling call. You can see Scotty Tom right on top of him, fighting for that thing like a loose football on the gridiron. 39.4 seconds to go. Eric Schmidt in the middle of the court talking to one of the officials, trying to get his interpretation of what just happened.
Looking at some of the guys coming back out on the floor for the Deacons, when you're thinking about who you're going to foul, surprisingly, Nick Jacobson just shooting 53% from the free throw line. He's a candidate. Brian Quam, you want to stay away from at 75%. Rory McCormick's in the game right now, and that's because he shoots 93% from the free throw line. Mike Johnson about 65%. So you want to get either Bradshaw And then there they foul Rory McCormick. Of course, McCormick fewer attempts from the free throw line, but nonetheless.
Smart foul nonetheless by Mandan because no time went off the clock. They fouled immediately. Foul goes against Kincaid. That's his second personal foul. Nobody but the Deacons' Josh Deutsch in real foul trouble here as we're at the end of the ball game. So Mandan's got a few to give up. Rory McCormick, number 42, will go to the free throw line.
Interesting now, Greg Lemke brings Jeff Getz into the game. Hasn't played at all in this game, but the reason he brings him in, really one of the three-point threats he has off the bench, the 5'11 junior.
Josh Deutsch waiting to come in for Rory McCormick, who just hit his first basket of the game. And he nails the second one, and so Deutsch will come in for McCormick. And it's 64-57. 7-point lead for the Deacons. They're going to back off a little bit. I'm sure they don't want to send anybody to the free throw line at this point. There's Auk with a three-pointer. It won't go. Rebound Jacobson. He'll probably get fouled right away. And he is mugged immediately. 27 seconds to go in the contest. 64-57. Jacobson will go to the free throw line, checking to see if he's bleeding from the nostrils after that collision. And the reason for it is because big Eric Schmidt ran into him. He picks up his third personal foul. Schmidt, again, as we mentioned at the top of our coverage tonight, Jacobson, the coach of the Deacons, wanted to play a little man tonight, and then they got a good look at Eric Schmidt at the pool at the hotel last night and decided, I'm not going to go man-to-man with a piece of beef like that. So they've been playing zone, and it's turned out to be the right defense for the Shanley Deacons because they have puzzled the Mandan Braves. Polis not being able to hit his perimeter shots. Jacobson, who, as Dan mentioned a moment ago, not that proficient from the free throw line, hits one right there, and it's an 8-point lead for the Deacons. Scotty Tom surprisingly going to sit down with 27 seconds left in the contest. Maybe Coach Lemke wanting to get him a round of applause as he sits down. Jacobson now 2 for 3 from the free throw line. It's 66-57. Final 23 seconds to go. Polis from the corner, and he nails a three-pointer. Was that a three-pointer from the baseline? Yes, it was. Three-pointer by Sam Polis, who gets his field back. That's his fourth three-pointer, but he hasn't had one since the first quarter.
That was a bullet.
So the Mandan Braves take a timeout. They're down by 6, 20 seconds to go.
I think the key play in this basketball game, about a minute and a half to go, Eric Schmidt threw up a tough shot in the lane and off the miss when Mandan had a chance to cut it to 2, and Mike Johnson came up with a big rebound. You know, you talk about big scores and big plays, but sometimes rebounds get lost in the shuffle. But Michael Johnson, a huge rebound at a key time, and then he came back down and hit the big free throws at the other end.
And he dominated the defensive boards for the Shanley Deacons in the second half. Speaking of all that chatter, we have yet to pick the American Dairy Association Player of the Game. We are 20 ticks off this clock from deciding the third place winner in this tournament. We've kind of beaten it to death here, but it is amazing that these two teams are playing for third place. Saw Doyle Plusity, the coach of the West Fargo Packers here. Packers inconsistent during the regular season, but most people thought they were going to be here. I bet it's a shock for him to see these two teams playing in the third place game. Final 20 seconds to go. 6-point lead for Shanley. Damon Bradshaw will throw the ball in for the Deacons. There's a long pass down the court. Jacobson is going to retain it. Fouled by Schmidt. 17.6 seconds to go. Jacobson goes back to the free throw line, and he'll shoot 2 as it's Mandan's 10th personal foul. Entering the ball game for the Deacons is Mark Fenstead, a 6'2 junior. Fenstead goes in for Rory McCormick. McCormick gets a nice round of applause from the crowd. Josh Deutsch sitting on the bench as well, as is Dan Dahl. Terrific season for both of these teams when you think about how it's going to end here for both of them and how it went.
And two relatively young teams, something to build on for next year and the years after. Of course, the Deacons with starting 2 freshmen, but Mandan also. Eric Schmidt, Sam Polis come back, a couple of key players off the bench too. And
into the ball game now for the Shanley Deacons. Number 14, I don't have a listing.
Chad Mastru. To try and give credit to everybody here. Sam Poulos checks out. What a great tournament he has had.
Coach is trying to get some much deserved applause for their starters. Jacobson doesn't hit the second one. Mandan with the rebound. They go up ahead. Just about knocked away by Quam. Three-point attempt up off the board. Fight for the rebound. Time slipping away. 6 seconds. 5. The pass to Bradshaw. He hangs on to it. 3 seconds. And he's fouled with 3.1 seconds to go in the contest. Bradshaw will go to the free throw line, and Shanley Deacons will have some wholesale substitutions and standing ovations by the Shanley crowd as the coach's kid, Nick Jacobson, just a freshman, 3 years left with the Shanley Deacons for him. Q gets out of the game. Number 22, Brian Quam. Mark Dom's going to check back in. And Mike Johnson, who has been a gallant warrior, especially on the boards in the second half, gets a hug from his coach, Mike Johnson, in his last game, wearing the red and white of the Shanley Deacons. Damon Bradshaw to the free throw line.
I've got Johnson for 21 points. He's probably in the 10-12 rebound range, and big presence down low for the Deacons.
Bradshaw hits the free throw, 68-60 Fargo Shanley. And here's his second one with 3.1 seconds to go. That one won't fall. Pretty much all academic now. And there it is. The final score, the Shanley Deacons 68, the Mandan Braves 60, the Fargo Shanley Deacons. The unexpected third place finishers in the state of North Dakota in Class A basketball. What a great finish. Team gelled, both of these teams gelled at the end of the season. And they bring the table out for the presentation of the third and the fourth place trophies. Both of these programs have to be very proud of their kids, Dan.
Yeah, and again, not to belabor the point, but these programs are in good shape. Greg Limke, pretty young at the helm over there, just his second year in Mandan. He's got a good thing going and some players back, and really excited to see that how Nick Jacobson will develop the next couple of years.
And speaking of Nick Jacobson, Dennis Wyman is with Nick. Go ahead, Dennis.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Nick, only a freshman. You got a third place trophy in your bookcase right now. How's it feel?
Pretty good. Never thought I would be here.
A lot of basketball ahead of you. I mean, what's it mean to win third place right now? What does the future hold for you?
It's a great honor. I mean, we didn't, in the beginning of the year, if they would have said, can we get third, then I wouldn't know what to say. But there's a great honor, and it's going to be a lot more fun in the years to come.
All right, congratulations. And from one extreme to the other, we've got the senior now, Brian Quam, finishing his career with the third place trophy. How's it feel?
Feels really good. We just wanted to come out end the season with the win and work really hard today.
What made the difference down the stretch as you guys turned from an average team into one of the better teams in the state?
We worked hard on defense, and offense we hit our shots, and that's about it.
It's got to be sweet.
Yeah, it is. Really.
Way to close off your career.
Thanks a lot,
guys.
Thanks a lot, Dennis Wyman. And now let's go down to the floor and the presentation of the third and the fourth place trophy.
Activities Director for the Minot Public Schools.
At this time, we would like to present the participation awards and team awards for this third and fourth place game. To help with the presentation are two members of the North Dakota High School Activities Board of Directors, the Superintendent of Schools from West Fargo, Marv Lydahl, and the Superintendent of Schools from Devils Lake and President of the Board, Ron Boomersbach. First of all, participation awards for the fourth place Mandan Braves. Cheerleaders, Jennifer Height, Jenny Harnden, Heidi Pratt, Heather Jansen, Robin Schaaf, and Sarah Frankie. Players, TJ Swisher, Todd Bauer, number 10, Chad Kincaid, number 12, Mike Out, Number 15, Randall Yoakum. Number 21, Dan Turnus. Number 22, Sam Pullis. Number 24, Jeff Getz. Number 32, Casey Meitinger. Number 33, Scott Tom. Number 42, Blair Radomski. Number 44, Eric Schmidt. Number 45, Lance Geigel. And number 55, Shane Avey. Assistant coaches, Greg Amundsen and Henry Schrader. And the head coach of the Braves, Greg Lemke. Participation awards for the third place Fargo Shanley Deacons. Cheerleaders, Jill Borkenhagen, Melissa Laughlin, Christy Lang, Amanda Quam, Ann Ringy, Angie Holland. Players, number 10, Dan Dahl. Number 12, Chevy Akeson. Number 14, Chad Mastrud. Number 22, Brian Quam. Number 24, Nick Jacobson. Number 30, Damon Bradshaw. Number 32, Josh Deutsch. Number 34, Mike Hofer. Number 42, Rory McCormick. Number 44, Mark Finstead. Number 50, Mike Johnson. Number 54, Mark Doms. Assistant coaches, Craig Murray, Dan Levine, Steve Jacobson, and the head coach of the Deacons, Tim Jacobson. Our fourth place trophy this year goes to Greg Lemke. Our fourth place trophy this year goes to Greg Lemke's Mandan Braves. And third place to Tim Jacobson's Fargo Shanley Deacons.
And so Mandan says goodbye to their 6 seniors. Shanley says so long to their 5 seniors who played so gallantly. We have one more piece of business before we put this one in the books, and that is the American Dairy Association Player of the Game. Who's it going to be? You vote at home, and we'll tell you up next. 12 rebounds and
Got milk? Check, please.
Time to unveil the American Dairy Association player of the game with 19 points, 8 assists, 12 rebounds, and 55% shooting from the floor. Mike Johnson will receive a certificate and a donation sent to Fargo Shanley on behalf of Mr. Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson, our American Dairy Association player of the game, from your local dairy farmers and the American Dairy Association who ask, got milk?
Nick Jacobson, also a fine game, but Mike Johnson's the guy that did the big things at the big moments.
Mike Johnson, our player of the game. He had a great contest. There you see Josh Deutsch getting some congratulations. What a great contest that was. Let's go to stats and Dan Viennes.
Yeah, it was telling. Shanley didn't shoot as well as Mandan in the first half, but they really turned it around for the game. Anytime you shoot over 50% in high school basketball, you got a chance to win. Free throws, Shanley made more trips to the line. That was telling. Rebounds pretty even, but Shanley controlled the boards when they had to. Turnovers a wash. As you look at the individual scoring, Mike Johnson with 19, Jacobson, just the freshman, with 18 points, including 3 3-pointers, and Brian Quam filled in nicely as well. Sam Pullis tried to carry the Braves again, hit 4 3-pointers, but was cold from the field in the second half. Geigel, Tom, and Avey picked up the slack.
So we'll be back with John Hegry in our Between the Shows show, and the state championship just moments away between Minot and Grand Forks Central. We'll be back with more on the North Dakota NBC Television Network in just a moment.